Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzek. In the upper left corner, we have Kent State zone, Cleveland zone. What is going on? I want to tell. Is that me?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It
said I couldn't unmute you because the host decided to mute himself. So I was like, I don't know if Gene's got like some secret mission going on over there. He doesn't want to know what's going on in the background there, but you know, I'm here. We're up and running now, and we got a lot.
Your mic is barely working, bro. You have like a buzz, and it's low, very low. It's a weird week. It's a weird week. In the upper right corner, Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Mr. William Shawcross. What's up,
gentlemen? What's up, boys?
Bro, it's been a weird week. I would listen. I'm gonna start this episode. Period. I'm gonna start this episode with a PSA. If you gotta get your wisdom teeth out, get those shits out. Don't delay on that because my mouth is still messed up. So if I sound a little weird tonight, I don't know what to tell you. Control, you back? You good? Unmute yourself. Let's get rolling. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, you ready to rock and roll? Then
let's go. The microphone sounds so much better.
Let's get right to it then. So hot wire, we got a lot. You know, this is a normally three topic segment here. We got 4 this week, and the first one being news that actually just dropped earlier today, maybe a couple hours ago. Sherrone Moore, head coach of Michigan, has been fired with cause. So the reports out there are right now that Sherrone Moore has had inappropriate relations with someone on the University of Michigan staff, and Michigan has a zero tolerance policy. Now that's been what's been reported so far. I'm sure we're going to have more details and everything regarding that. But Bill, I mean, you are the resident Michigan man here. What are your thoughts on this firing here, and ultimately, being kind of late to the party here with everything that's going on as far as the coaching carousel goes? What does this coaching search look like for Michigan moving forward here?
Desperation. So this is twofold for me. This rumor with him has been out there for a while. I don't think it's that big of a secret. He's an idiot. He's a married man with 3 kids. Apparently the shit really hit the fan because he paid for this staffer, whoever she is. A lot of people think they've identified her already. I'm not going to go into that, but he paid for her to have an abortion, which is, I guess, in his weird way, thinking he was going to make it go away. It didn't. My only gripe with this is, again, if this broke to people that pretty much follow the program closely in October, there's no doubt in my mind that the school wasn't aware of it before then. They should have fired him then. Like, Ward Manuel had every chance in the world to get away from this then. The season was going to be what it was going to be anyway. And you literally just watched Penn State and a couple other teams go through horrific coaching searches, and you wait till today to fire him. I hate Ward Manuel, and I've said that before this happened. He's not really a football guy, and I've said from the get-go, you can't hire somebody like that to be your AD at a school that revolves around the football program. He's like the guy that wasn't good enough to play football when he was younger, and now he takes it out on the football team whenever he can. It's not his fault. Sherrone Moore was a scumbag. I'm not saying anything like that. Sherrone Moore deserved to get fired. He's an idiot. I was telling Gene right before we came on, that guy literally landed in the golden goose chair. He's never going to get a job like this ever again. This job was handed to him from Harbaugh on an open coaching search, he's never walking into a top 10 job like that and getting the job ever again. So he's an idiot. He's going to pay the price. I don't know where he ends up. Gene joked he ends up on the Charger staff. I don't know. Maybe he does. That's kind of funny.
I was going to joke. I really think he's going to end up on the Charger staff.
He might, but he's not going to have a major role in that team. But to answer your second question, I don't know. I know Biff's going to coach the bowl game, and everybody in that program loves him. He's too old to be a head coach at that level. Gruden's name's already been thrown around a lot. Kellen DeBoer's name, I don't even know how happy about that I would be, but his buyout is insanely low for a coach of his stature. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about Jesse Minter coming back. We'll see, because his show cause ends next week, I think. So I don't know where they go, but it's they're probably going to have to overpay somebody mightily to walk away from a really good job if they want a big time coach. I think this will happen quickly only because they have the money to write the check if they have to. But I think it'll get pretty aggressive pretty quick. But he's an idiot. I'm more worried about the recruits and all that stuff at this point. So I don't care really that he's gone. I'm more worried about who they bring in and retaining all those kids for next year, because with the class they had this year and the class coming in next year and all the young talent, if they get a good coach and they keep everybody, it will be a very good football team next year. So I'm more worried about that. I'm very indifferent about the Sherrone Moore thing.
I'm going to take one shot at each one of y'all. Who you want me to start with, Shal? You want me to take a shot at you first or shot at bro? Because I'm taking a shot at both of y'all.
I don't care.
I cannot wait to see Shally turn his back on Bryce Underwood when he opts out. And, he sucks. He's terrible. Watch, I'm telling you, dog. As soon as this dude opts out, because he's going to now, it's going to happen. He's going somewhere else. His biggest investor basically wrote him off in Portnoy. Coach is gone. He's gone. That's number one. Second, if this was Ohio State, Sherrone Moore would have got promoted. Like, he'd have got – Ohio State loves this shit. Urban Meyer, they don't give a shit. As long as you're winning football games, you can sleep with whoever. You can do whatever. Ethics is not a thing in Ohio State.
That's Rich coming from a Penn State fan, but continue.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you weren't a Penn State fan, these would be better shots. But considering you guys, covered up, molesting kids within the football program for damn near a decade,
at least this
that's
is
that's a little
people of age. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's
20 years later. Okay.
I mean, I guess time heals all. Is that what you're trying to say, Gene? Is that where we're going here with this?
Well, I've written off everybody from that point. It took 5 years. I didn't like Penn State for 5 years. And you know why I didn't like them for 5 years? Because that stupid university still stood in front of it and defended Joe Paterno and defended the people in that university. And I'm like, I'm going to distance myself from this. After Bill O'Brien left, I started to Bill did a good job. But, I mean, listen, no one's perfect here. I give Michigan credit for firing him. I think it's a good fire, but call it like it is. I mean, if he was in Ohio State, he would have got a promotion. They might have put him on the news.
Well, I don't know. One, I mean, that's just insane because if you're talking about Urban, he didn't have relations with the staffer. He was just, I mean, who didn't he have relations with? But two, you say, it was a good fire. Michigan really had no choice at this point. Like all the information was kind of out there. And Michigan, to their credit, they run a zero tolerance policy for, certain things. And this happens to be one of them. So the other part of all the information is starting to become public now. So it's been reported. No, they don't. They absolutely do not have a choice. That's why he got fired with cause, because their hands are tied with it. Like if it's with cause, like they're basically saying like you quite literally like voided what's in your contract. So it's been reported now that the staffer, in question here, she got a $32,000 raise. That's on the payroll. That's public information now. And so that's part of it. Bill alluded to the abortion that happened, or if she's pregnant, things like that. Like there's certain things that once it fully comes into light and it's proven to be true, Michigan had absolutely no choice in that matter. So yes, I give them credit for, taking care of it, but to Michigan's own credit, it's a part of their policy why their hands are really tied in the situation.
It also protects them because for them, she can't turn around now and sue the school because they can say the second it came to light, to Cottrell's point, they didn't get rid of him, they fired him with cause, voided his contract, they're not paying him, they're saying he's fully at fault, they've acknowledged it was his fault, blah blah blah. They parted ways and got rid of him. So they really had no choice. And again, my issue isn't the determination whatsoever. It's like Cottrell said, this information has been out there for a while. Like this isn't if you're even I don't want to say casual. If you're invested in that program, you've known about this for a while. And to wait till freaking the middle of December to do this is crazy to me. I that's the part I don't get. And that's why I put that on Warren Manuel. But we'll see, I guess.
All right, let's move forward. We got a lot to get into.
All right. So while one, coaching job opens up at the University of Michigan, one has finally been closed off at Penn State. Matt Campbell, former coach of Iowa State, has been signed to an 8-year, $70 million contract with a bunch of incentives included in it. Penn State's search was a lengthy one. It feels like they were one of the first people to the party as far as firing their coach and, getting the coaching search really underway here. But Gene, I started with Bill with the Michigan story. I want to start with you here with the Penn State story. What are your thoughts on the Matt Campbell hire?
I'm thrilled. I'm happy about it. Matt Campbell was one of the few people that were on my list of people that I wanted to hire before the thing started. I'm not going to lie to you. I was definitely getting into the Kalani Sitake. I think he's a very good coach at BYU. I was definitely getting behind that, even though he wasn't on my list going into it. I was behind Matt Rule for a little while, and I would have been perfectly fine with Matt Rule. But I'm very happy with this hire, Matt Campbell. Very, very happy for Penn State. I think they got a guy that's a good football coach, that's a good in-game coach, a guy that can still recruit, but he also, they're recruiting for Iowa State, and you bring that to Penn State, and you're going to bring a lot more toughness to the program. I'm a happy Penn State fan today. I can start, rebuilding my fandom. I can fully get behind Penn State, and I will make an announcement. Announcement will be made right now, right here on the show. Next year, Gene will not have a second team. It's Penn State, do or die. I'm a Matt Campbell rider. And look, even though I was behind Kalani Sitake for a little bit, it was nice to watch him crumble in the Big 12 championship. I drank Sitake tears in my Campbell soup.
Bill?
I mean, this is kind of exhibit A of what I'm talking about. If you do this 3 weeks ago, Matt Campbell's on your short list, which he was before, to get hired at Michigan. I think he's a great fit for Penn State. The right mentality, he's the right type of guy to be there. I think not only the football program, but I think the student athletes are all going to like him. They all did like James Franklin as well, because I mean, I outside of football, I think he's a nice guy. But he's a guy the whole school's going to get behind. I don't think he'll have any problem recruiting in the Midwest. Obviously, with all his ties and obviously now using the full resources of Penn State. Took a long road to get there, but overall, I think it's a great hire for Penn State.
Definitely took a long road to get there. They were all in on like 3 coaches before they got to Matt Campbell. That's the only thing that worried me.
I'm thinking this is a good hire too for Penn State. I'm kind of disappointed because, with James Franklin being there, you knew that Penn State would always be good, but you always knew that he'd make a mistake at some point. Now with Matt Campbell, I think him taking over this Penn State program, it's really not a matter of if, it's really a matter of when. When do they get back to, being a true title contender? And I think that with what Matt Campbell's history is, at Iowa State, he'd always overperform what the expectations were. And I think at Penn State, he's going to have the donors that are going to be lining up with money to put money into that program. And we know he can coach. And, but I think you made a great point about his ability to recruit. You have to also remember that Matt Canada is a, Midwest guy. Like, he's from Ohio. So he's got the pipeline there in Ohio and in Pennsylvania. So ton of kids are probably he's going to be able to get a ton of kids to come and stay home or just be close to home in that area. So I think it's a great hire for them. And, I think Penn State will be back on the map here. I'd probably say 2 seasons. Like, I think next year will be the one to try to recruiting wise, because they were kind of behind the 8 ball in this recruiting cycle with their hire. But I'm sure they'll hit the portal hard. And, once they get that group of kids next year, like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they had a top 10 recruiting class coming into 2027.
I think something underrated too that came out of this was that Matt Campbell convinced Terry Smith to stay on his coaching staff. I thought that was key because Terry Smith had the backing of the donors of the university. Look, we'll call it like it is. Drew Aller goes down, they fire Franklin, and Terry Smith has got that program from falling apart to a bowl game this year. I know that's not what a bowl game is, what they were looking at, but when they fired Franklin and then Aller went down, they could have packed it in. They could have mailed it in, and they didn't. And Terry Smith is a guy that I really wanted on the staff. And the fact that Matt Campbell reached out to him immediately and got him on the staff and kept him, I love that. That's a great start.
I don't disagree. I think the other thing, if you look at the stats of, the previous, I think it was 90 some years before Matt Campbell got there cumulatively versus the 10 he was there, it's staggering. I know one of their 4-star wide receivers and somebody else, one of their other big recruits from this class, they got let out of their letter of intents today for Iowa State. So I would assume they're going to follow him to Penn State or just open their recruitment altogether. But I next year might be a little bit rough, but I think the year after that they'll be fine.
Agreed. Anything else on the Matt Campbell hire?
Nah, we got to move on to old man Rivers.
All right. Well, go over to the NFL now. Phillip Rivers, 44 years old, has been signed to the Indianapolis Colts after season-end injury to Daniel Jones. Riley Leonard, their backup quarterback, is also facing some sort of injury at the moment as well. And Phillip Rivers has not played since 2021. And funny enough, he was a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame this upcoming year for 2026. Now, if he does take a snap, this will reset his clock, and he will have to wait another 5 years before being back on the ballot. Now, I don't think it really matters because I don't think he was a first ballot guy anyway. But with that being said, what are your guys' thoughts on Phillip Rivers essentially coming off of his couch after a 4-year NFL hiatus and potentially being a starting quarterback for the Colts down the stretch here?
Are they out of their mind? Are they out of their mind? I'm just trying to understand for a minute. Is there no one else available? He's 44 years old.
So the other tidbit that I didn't include there is that apparently Phillip Rivers, because obviously, he was a Colt there before he retired. He's a high school coach currently, and he runs the Colts offense with the high school that he coaches. And him and Shane Steichen actually talk weekly about, game plans and things like that. So he's very familiar with the playbook. And that's really how this kind of came about. They felt like they wouldn't have to, get him up to speed with the playbook or just concepts and things like that. So obviously, I'm sure that doesn't change anything for Eugene, but did want to throw that little tidbit in there as well as part of the rationale of why he was the guy that they made the call to.
This is like if I called Michigan's coaching search desperation, I don't know what this is. This is insanity is what this is. Like, let's not forget when he retired 5 years ago, he could barely move then. He couldn't throw the ball more than 35 yards down the field, and it wasn't on the line. So now this guy's not in football shape. Let's just be honest. He's 5 years older, and now he's going to go play pro football with what, a couple practices? This is like two people sitting at a kitchen table hammered and coming up with an idea that they think is going to be like a good Disney movie ending, and then he's going to go out there and get killed. I'm a Gene. Like they're like you couldn't call Cincinnati and be like, yo, can we have Flacco? Like they're like nothing. Like no, there was nobody else available. Like you called every team and you couldn't get anybody else.
No trade deadlines passed, so they had to grab a free agent.
Oh, God, anybody.
I feel like that would have been a situation of now that Joe Burrow is back, you probably call Cincinnati like, hey, you know, maybe let Flacco, kind of like the Darius Slay, you know, under the table deal with Pittsburgh. It was like, all right, well, you kind of suck here. I'm sure you want to keep playing. You know, maybe this is your last year. We'll throw you on waivers because I'm sure you probably want to go back to Philadelphia, and we know how that whole debacle ended up. But may have been a similar situation where I would at least call Cincinnati and say, hey, Burrow's back. You're not keeping Flacco past this year. Let's just see, you know, we have an opening for him. We have the familiarity. Maybe we can slide him in, you know, actually let him play football here.
Look, and this is not a Phil Rivers thing. I understand. Chip, call Big Ben up. You know what I mean? Call somebody. This is crazy. 44 years old. Big Ben, the same thing. It's a joke. I am so good.
Where is Anthony Richardson?
He got hurt in a pre-game.
He's on.
Is he on IR?
He broke his face stretching.
It's not a joke. It's not kidding.
He broke.
It's not healed yet.
No, he had an orbital fracture.
December
from a stretch band.
He might be a bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell.
I called that shit. I told you how bad he was coming out.
We all did. I mean, for the record. So 16 weeks later, his face still broke.
It wasn't. It didn't happen at the beginning of the year. This was during the season.
Oh, I thought somebody said training camp.
No. It happened during the season. Wow.
Okay. All right.
Philip Rivers. I mean, I'm curious to see. This feels like a Disney movie. Like this doesn't feel like it's something that can happen in real life here. But in the event of something crazy happening, you know, they don't even really rely on him. He throws 20 passes, moves the ball up and down the field, but it's really Jonathan Taylor heavy. And somehow, some way, the Colts have success.
Aren't they playing somebody with a good defense this week?
I think they're playing
the rest of their season is.
Is that who it is?
I think so.
He's going to get killed.
In the off chance, though, that I think it's like a 0.5, like out of 100%, I gave it a 0.5% chance of succeeding. If that does happen, though, talk about a guy who would stamp his Hall of Fame resume. Because right now, I think he's on the fringe. I think he's maybe 5th, 6th time on the ballot he gets in. You go out and you put up a run and you're, at 44, I think a lot of people start to look at you, a little bit differently there, even if you're not putting up crazy numbers. So
what if he dies on the field? Does that get him in quicker? I have to think it does.
I would think so as well.
Because there's a higher percent chance he dies on the field Sunday than he succeeds.
I think it's crazy to throw him out there versus, in my opinion, listen, we can talk about the Texans being the best defense in football. I think it's the Seahawks.
Okay, I mean, worst case, they're 2. Exactly. So, like, what? This is like Jim Irsay coming back from the dead, high on perks, making personnel decisions. That's what this is.
But okay, so realistically, though, just before we move on to baseball here, realistically, who would you have called to finish the season out?
How hurt is Riley Leonard? Is like he can't go?
He hasn't. I think today was his first day practicing.
What's wrong with him?
He's limited. That I don't know. I think it's something with his leg.
Like you threw Daniel Jones out there for 2 weeks with pretty much an athletic tape cast on his leg because he couldn't move. You didn't care about him.
You don't think Heineke coming in here would be a better situation?
That's what I mean.
Strained knee ligament.
Oh, Philip Rivers' whole body is a strained knee ligament, bro. He can't move.
I don't know, bro. Taylor Heineke would probably have been my first call.
You think he stinks, though?
I mean, Philip Rivers is 44. Like,
I get it. I'm just saying,
what was the game like the playoff game they lost where like he couldn't throw like 20-yard crossing routes?
No,
I think
it was against Baltimore.
I don't think people realize how bad it was when he left. Like, go watch his last couple games. He can't throw.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
I'm just saying versus Seattle. And the part that's even crazier, I gotta play him in fantasy playoffs this week.
He's putting up 40. I'm picking him up right now.
No, I gotta play Seattle. I'm in trouble. That's the craziness.
But I also think
that's gotta be the start of the week. Seattle's defense.
They're gonna put 12 in the box.
I would start it over certain running backs.
They're gonna put 12 in the box. 11, however many they're allowed to. Throw the punter in there, everything. Like there's I'm gonna have to bench Jonathan Taylor.
There's this crazy part of me. As crazy as this is, I kind of appreciate the desperation.
The Sauce Gardner trade might go down as one of the worst trades ever. He's hurt. They give up 2 first-round draft picks to go all in this year. They've been 1-3 since the trade, and I think he's on IR.
He is, yeah.
That's got to be the worst trade ever.
I mean, yeah.
What?
It's not their fault. Like, it's not like it was an over. I mean, it arguably was an overpay in the moment, but you go out and you get who, depending on who you ask, I don't think he's the top corner in the league, but you go out and get a top 3, top 4 corner in the league, and you're having the magical run. And at the time, Daniel Jones wasn't hurt yet either. So you think you're doing whatever you can to really go all in. So I mean, I respect it, but it didn't work out.
Okay. Let's get into baseball for you. I got so much NFL. Like, I really wanted to get into something else. Like, I feel like there's a perfect segue from this. I wish we would have swapped the topics to put this forth because I really want to get into something else, NFL. But let's knock out the baseball free agency. We'll get right back to NFL.
All right. So baseball free agency, since our last show, you've had some key players either sign or re-sign. Just some of the
best are gone.
some of the notable ones. Cedric Mullins signed a 1-year deal to go to Tampa Bay. You had Kyle Schwarber re-sign 5-year, $150 million deal with the Philadelphia Phillies. Edwin Diaz signed a 3-year, $69 million contract with the Dodgers. And then most recently, you had Pete Alonso sign a 5-year on $155 million contract with the Baltimore Orioles. Of the ones I've named, of any other, kind of low-key moves out there, I guess this past week, any move that stands out to you guys the most so far, through free agency?
Bro, Edwin Diaz leaving New York is so fucking wild to me. Pete Alonso, you can see this a mile away, right? Boston, Philadelphia. I didn't see Baltimore, but I understood it. Edwin Diaz has been everything that the Mets have ever asked him to be. And the fact that they got outbid, and they didn't get outbid, they just wouldn't go 5 years. They wanted to go 5. Edwin Diaz wanted to go 5 years. The Mets wouldn't go 5 years. And he felt disrespected. He actually took less money to go to the Dodgers to just not be there. There's a lot of talk about the culture in the Mets locker room. They trade Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien earlier in this free agency period. They lose Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso now gone. I mean, we can talk about MLB free agency, or we can talk about the culture of the New York Mets. Juan Soto, is down in the what?
That's where you need to start. Go ahead.
Is down in the Dominican Republic talking about how Frankie Lindor shouldn't be the captain of the team. Like, it's crazy what's going on in the Mets. It's crazy, man. They hate each other. Juan Soto and Frankie Lindor don't like each other.
You got to be a really bad person for Frankie Lindor to not like you.
I would tend to agree. I mean, Frankie Lindor is one of those guys that plays the game the right way, always has a smile on his face. I have never, ever, ever heard a bad word about Frankie Lindor in any article or anything I've ever read, baseball related, ever. Same can't be said for Juan Soto.
Started with the argument he got in with.
Listen.
With what?
It all started with the argument that he got into with Jeff McNeil. What? He got in a huge argument.
I think, listen, I think this is also kind of proof positive. Like, you can have all the money in the world to throw around. You got to throw it at the right people, though. For all intents and purposes, you know, we can sit here and trash the Dodgers, but they're spending money on guys, you know, that are considered, you know, Freddie Freeman's considered, you know, a great teammate. Shohei's a good teammate. You know, those type situations. You want to put these, you know, master, you know, Hall of Fame teams together. You gotta give the money to the right people. And if you don't, this is the type of stuff that happens. To Gene's point, you look at that roster on paper, and you have people that are pretty much like, get me the hell out of here. Like, that's a problem. That's not a good sign if you're an owner when you're spending money the way you're spending it, and you have guys that have been there for a long time saying, you know what, I'm good. Like, get me out of this clubhouse. Like, Alonso was, you know, again, he was one of those guys right along with Frankie that's been the face of that team for a long time. He's like, I'm out. I'll go to Baltimore. You mentioned the McNeil thing. You got Juan down in, you know, wherever he is, you know, talking shit about Frankie. Like, not a good situation. Edwin Diaz, you know, when he came, you know, became prominent, became a, you know, one of the elite closers. That guy was a god up there. Like, you know, like people, you know, copying his entrance, using his music, you know, everything. And he was like Gene said, I'll take less money, and literally went to the team the furthest possibly away from New York City. Like, it's not good. It's not good at all. Like, it goes to show you, like clubhouse stuff matters, especially when you're around guys that long and that often. Baseball season is a grind, man. You're going to spend the better part of every day for 9 months with the same people. And if you got bad eggs in there, doesn't work.
It's just kind of wild to me, man. It's a lot of silly stuff going on in the Mets organization. And honestly, you know, as a Phillies fan, it's helpful for me. I think we've strengthened our lead in the NL East, and I think our number one competitor in the division is the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all assuming they're going to rebound next year. I don't think we're getting that version of the Braves that we got last year.
Agreed. I mean, I think of course, the whole Edwin Diaz thing is wild because with the Dodgers specifically, like we talked about during their run, that the bullpen was one of the biggest question marks. So you go out and get the best reliever that's on the market. I mean, I think it's a testament to what the Dodgers want to do. But to your point, Bill, like, they're not just spending money. They're spending money for guys that fit, but also aren't going to cause like issues within the locker room there. But I think, you know, of the people who've got signed, Pete Alonso going to the Orioles kind of, you know, I think reinforces a conversation that we had last week when, you know, you guys are talking about potentially trading for Adley. I think this is a move that tells me that the Orioles are trying to maximize whatever this window is, or at least figure out what they have. I think that's a move that signals that they are going to try and win now. And they ultimately will spend money to do so. It kind of confuses me because last year you would think you would have re-signed Corbin Burns if you're willing to spend $150 million on a first baseman. But, with that said, I do think they are going to be going, is all in is what a Baltimore team could do.
I want to get back to the NFL. Anything else, MLB, you want to talk about?
That is it, my friend.
So we were talking a minute ago about the Phillip Rivers thing. And I just want to call out something. I think it's just malpractice. If the Washington Commanders play Jaden Daniels another snap of football this year, it is malpractice, and they should be investigated. They're 3-10. Him playing this week versus Minnesota and re-aggravating an injury, we all watched his elbow dislocate. And they're like, he's going to play this week. I'm like, what the hell is going on? He played. Of course he re-aggravated the injury. It's malpractice. They're 3-10. Now, they've ruled him out this Sunday versus the Giants, which is the right thing to do. But you're looking at an RG3 situation if you do not take care of this kid. He's your franchise. And the similarities are so... Think about it real quick. Hey, do you remember, Cottrell, what number did RG3 get drafted?
2.
Where did Jaden Daniels get drafted?
2.
RG3 won an award his rookie year?
Did.
Jaden Daniels won an award his rookie year?
He did.
Did RG3 take the Commanders to the playoffs against all odds his rookie year?
Did.
Did Jaden Daniels do that?
Did.
And did an injury derail RG3 from a team playing him when they probably shouldn't?
It did.
I'm not saying that it happens, but if somebody from the Commanders organization needs to go, hey guys, we're 3-10. How about we just make sure Jaden gets healthy for next year? We punt on the season. We got Mariota. He keeps us competitive. Let's punt on the season. Let's make sure our franchise quarterback's okay. And let's punt on the season. Am I wrong to think that?
I mean, I don't think you're necessarily wrong to think that. I also think it could be a part of what we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Joe Burrow coming back. Obviously not an apples-to-apples situation as far as injuries go, but I do think part of it is that Jaden Daniels is young and he probably wants to play. Now, with that said, they're not playing for anything. If anything, you would think that, all right, Jaden, we got you. We know you're our long-term guy here. If we lose these we're not going to actively try and lose football games, but if we lose these football games, we're going to have a better draft pick. And, we essentially gain nothing from playing you. Like, yeah, the experience is nice with you being a young guy, but you're going to be here for years to come. You know what the experience is going to be like moving forward there. But at the same time, though, Jaden Daniels might be a kid that's in his own way, because if he got back from his injury and he wants to play, I mean, yes, you can come in and say, well, we don't want to play you. But at the same time, Joe Burrow said a couple weeks ago, I'm a football player. If I'm healthy enough, or I feel like I'm healthy enough to get on the field, like I want to be out there and play. So I think it's one of those things that Washington's got to help him get out of his own way, because I think that might be one of those things there.
Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's I think common sense if you're looking long term and to your earlier comparison, like already realizing what Jaden Daniels is and what he most likely is going to be, to run him out there and risk him getting hurt again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. At the same time, I kind of fall on the other side of the argument like I did with Burrow. Like, these guys are football players, like they want to play, and it's if he wants to go out there and be with his guys and he is medically cleared to play, it's not like, hey, like Jaden Daniels said he wants to play, he shouldn't. But we're like, as long as it's not one of those things, if he was really medically cleared to play, then and he wants to go out, I mean, I think it's kind of hard to tell him no.
You don't think that the organization should protect him from himself in a situation where he's already been out 3 times due to injury?
I think it's different,
it's
though,
not
too.
Joe Burrow. It's like one time he had a toe injury and it's healed. This is 3 times he's been out with injury.
The first one, though, wasn't the first one a concussion? And then the second one was, him dislocating his elbow. And then I know it's like an elbow injury again. Was it hamstring the first time?
Yeah.
But I mean, still 2 different injuries, though. Like, I know this one is a compound of what happened before the dislocation there. But I think it's tough to – if he comes out in the media, I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is this guy, but if he comes out to the media like, hey, I'm healthy, they're interviewing him stuff. Yeah, I'm healthy, but team is just sitting me out. Like, I think that could be a bad look too. So I mean, I think you got to get everybody on the same page. Like, that's the tough part. If he's truly not ready to go back out there on the field, then this should be easy. If it's he's 50-50, this also should be easy. But let's say he sits this week and next week he's like, I'm feeling like myself, I'm 100%. I think at this point it's going to be tough keeping him off the field.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who's the best quarterback in football? Not
this
right
year
now.
Or just in
best quarterback in football?
Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, I wouldn't say right this second, but yeah, I mean,
who's second?
I mean, for my money, Lamar Jackson, but
okay. Who's second, Bill?
Burrow for me.
Who's third?
Burrow.
Who's third for you?
Probably Josh.
That's the first one that might be in the playoff. No Pat, no Lamar, no Joe, no Jaden. This playoffs, this NFL is the most wide open NFL you will ever see.
You out on the Ravens now?
I'm not. I think the Ravens still win the division. But my point is they're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're basically a game and a half back.
They haven't played the last 2 weeks like I know.
Correct.
Facts.
They lost to the Bengals and the Steelers in back-to-back weeks. They're lost all tiebreakers in that division. They can beat the Steelers to even up, but they need to win another game. They're not going to win the tiebreaker in that situation now. I look at the NFL and I ask you this better question. Who do you feel more confident in? The Patriots and Drake May? The Broncos and Bo Nix? Who do you feel more confident in? The Seattle Seahawks defense or the Texans defense? Because the questions aren't what we're normally asking going into the postseason. It's not, is it Josh or is it Lamar or is it that are going to take out Patrick? It's craziness going across the NFL, and there's so many opportunities for teams to take a shot. Is this Josh Allen's best chance to go to the Super Bowl with a playoffs? Every year it's Joe's taking him out, Patrick's taking him out, and then Lamar is beating him for MVP. Except last year, and then Josh lost to Patrick. Is this Josh Allen's time?
The only kind, like even a little bit of pushback I would say is I don't disagree with your point really at all, but you're also like, I mean, this would be Drake May's first playoff. Herbert hasn't done well, but he's made the playoffs before. Trevor's been in the playoffs before. I mean, Stafford's won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl. Goff isn't, a stranger to the playoffs if they get in. Jordan Love's been in the playoffs. So I agree with you that I think it'd be nice for a new face to win one, but I don't think it's not like we're talking about Josh Allen and like a bunch of rookies either. I get to your other point though. Like, if he doesn't have to go through those guys, it's going to be his best chance. But I think like Peyton Manning's also talked about like the ones that meant the most to him were the year, like those few times he knocked Brady out and then went. Like he didn't want the easy path. Like he wanted to beat Brady, then go win the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying Josh won't be happy if they win the Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow didn't make it. But at the same time, I mean, there will be people that'll point to it like, okay, well, yeah, you won, but you beat Trevor Lawrence and Herbert instead of Mahomes and Burrow. Like, it'll make a difference in the discussion. I wouldn't give a shit, but They didn't make the playoffs. That's their problem. I took care of business and did what I was supposed to do.
I
But
don't think that's a conversation.
I'll make it easy. To answer your question, Gene, the answer is yes. This is the opportunity that Josh Allen has to accept, because while I do think the Chiefs, are in a position where I don't see it necessarily getting better anytime soon, because I think that it has to be a lot of moving parts with what they have issues with. Yep. But at the same time, though, like, I can't necessarily bank on that. Like, I can't bank on the Chiefs just always not making the playoffs, because if Pat gets there, he's going to give his team a chance to win. So, you don't know how many opportunities you're going to have with Pat not being in the playoffs. Same thing with the Ravens. While, a lot of people talk about Lamar Jackson's, shortcomings in the playoffs, that's a team that will always, have talent and can have, success out there on the field. So if he's not in the playoffs, like, that's another one where you don't have to, really worry about them. And then you talk about with Joe Burrow. I mean, next year, if Burrow's healthy for the entire year and the Bengals slide into the playoffs somewhere, it's going to be a tough out because, like you mentioned before, they've lost to that team before. So I absolutely think, opportunities where, yes, the Broncos defense is phenomenal, but Bo Nix has been up and down. The Patriots have been on a 10-game winning streak, but take a look at who they've played so far. Like, I think there could be, chinks in that armor there if they go out and, they see a Buffalo team and, Josh goes out and puts up 30 points against them. So for me, I absolutely think this is the year where you have to get it done. And it's not even necessarily just go out, win a Super Bowl, but you have to make it out the AFC. Like, this is going to be your best opportunity in the near future.
If I told you the names Bo Nix, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, and Aaron Rodgers, they would either be number one in their division or last in their division before the season started. What would you have picked?
I would have said last.
It is crazy. That's the 4 home playoff teams as we speak. Quarterbacks: Bo Nix, Drake May, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence.
And I mean, I think there's an opportunity too where you look at who's in the wild card slots there. Obviously, whoever's a 1 seed won't be playing that first round, but I think there's a shot where you have all 3 road teams win that first round of playoffs. Like, I think that's how up in the air this playoffs, like the playoffs this year, can be. So it could really get wild there. So, I mean, I think Josh absolutely has to step up to the plate. And, it's going to be more than just him, but Josh has to have that Pat run where he wills his team to victories week in, week out.
Yeah. I look at it from a perspective that the old guard is past. This is like 2006 with Brady. They revitalized that team in Kansas City or in New England. Kansas City has to make that change. There's just a lot of things that need to happen for the old guard to come back. And this new guard is different. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. I've waited for this moment, though. Gentlemen, I waited for it. I got exactly 10 minutes before trivia. I've waited for it. Control. A month ago, we had a discussion.
Okay.
I told you the Philadelphia Eagles offense is broken. They have massive issues on their offense. Massive issues on the offense.
Okay.
This team won't win a Super Bowl. They're not it. 3 weeks later, 3 straight losses to the Cowboys, Bears, and Chargers. Where do you view Philadelphia?
I mean, I view them as a team that may make the playoffs. If they make it, depending on who their matchup is in that first week, I think you may have a wild card team come to the link and beat you. I think Philadelphia is in a really bad spot, and of course, the offense is having their issues. But I think the bigger issue is, it's with the offense, but you've seen AJ getting touches. Like you saw Saquon, have the breakout run in that game. He ran for over 100 yards. And you still lost the football game. So, like, for me, I think that's where the concern truly is. So I would say the Eagles are in a really bad spot, and your matchups down the line here are favorable. But I mean, you play like this. I mean, anybody can can take care of business. I think you still win the division just because your schedule is light, but I definitely think you are in a lot of danger there that first round in the wild card.
You don't think Kenny Pickett can come into the link and win that football game?
No.
Okay. Shally, are you
Yeah.
are you on board?
On board with what?
The Eagles. Where are you at? A month ago it was they're 8-2. They're winning football games. Who the F cares?
I mean, that's where they were, though.
That was an accurate statement when they were 8-2 winning a football game.
Wow. The Michigan coach was just detained by the police.
I just saw that.
What's going on?
I don't know.
No longer the Michigan coach, by the way.
Yeah.
So where are you at on the Philadelphia Eagles show?
What I say last week, it's time to officially, kind of
Give up.
no, I'm not saying give up. It's officially time. Everybody kind of needs to look in the mirror and kind of really be really brutally honest with what's going on here.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, let's see. To Cottrell's, this past week was something different than it was 2 weeks ago. If you're going to have people not playing consistent, that's going to happen. You can't get the run game going and then turn the ball over 5 times. 2 weeks ago it was something different. The week before that it was something different. It's now the defense is kind of banged up. So now we're going back the other way. So
defense was incredible.
It was. But my point being, it's something different every week now. I can't justify losing 3 games in a row to those 3 teams. And it's some of it boils down to execution. Some of it I still think is shitty coaching. But I don't know. Better figure it out fast. It's not getting it. We're getting down to the point where, like Cottrell said, if they're going to keep doing this, I won't be surprised if they lose in the first round.
Well, I'm going to surprise a lot of people out there right now. I was the one that got on this show and predicted the Philadelphia Eagles would go on this hard run. I was the one that told you that this team's offense was broken. I was the one that told you that this team is just in a bad place. I'm here to tell you I was wrong. I was wrong. I said this was not something they could recover from. I looked at this past week on Monday Night Football. Granted, let's take out the fact that they lost the football game. Let's take out the fact that Jalen Hurts had his worst career game as a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Let's take that out for a minute. The Philadelphia Eagles, for the majority of the game, looked like the Philadelphia Eagles. They moved the ball with ease. Did they make mistakes? Was there interceptions, drop passes? A.J. Brown catches 2 passes he will tell you he should catch. Eagles win that football game. Here's where I'm going to tell you I was wrong. I did not think this offense would get back on track. I did not think this would get solved. And I'm here to tell you that after the Jeffrey Lurie, Big Dom, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts sit down, this situation is solved. Eagles fans, ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Eagles are back. Is that crazy to say after 3 straight losses? I know. I'll be back on the branch by myself again. That's who I am. I see things before they happen. I'm here to let you know this Philadelphia Eagles team will win the next 7 games. Oh, Gene, there's only 4 games left in the season. Listen to me when I say this. This Philadelphia Eagles team will win the next 7 football games. Not here to predict 8. They're going to beat the Raiders this week. They're going to beat the Commanders next week. They're going to go into Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills. They're going to beat the Commanders in Week 18. They're going to win in the wild card round in the link. They are going to win in the division round. And they are going to win in the NFC Championship game. It is going to happen because the offense is fixed. Jalen Hurts is not going to turn the ball over 5 times again. Not going to happen. And you know how I know that? He's never done that. He had more turnovers on Monday Night Football than he had the other, 12 games combined. 3 turnovers going in, 5 turnovers on Monday. Trust me when I tell you it clicked.
So while I hear you, I also think part of the problem too is that you say the offense is fixed, and I think if you're looking at it in the macro, AJ Brown had a good game. He had 100 yards in that. Saquon Barkley had 120 yards. Like, I understand what you're saying there, but I also look at it in the micro where, I watch the football game and they're on the goal line and they don't push and they don't score a touchdown from the goal line there, and they get pushed back. And I also see Jake Elliott is not the same guy that he was 2 years ago. Statistically, from 50, I think he's 5 of 14 the last 2 years. So he's not that reliable guy for you anymore. He missed I'm not going to say a chip shot, but he missed the easy field goal in that game against the Chargers, especially with it being an indoor venue. So I think there's room for optimism. So, I can understand where you're coming from, but I also think it wasn't just the Jalen Hurts' turnovers where the Eagles' offense was necessarily lacking. It was more. I feel like they still don't have a true identity on offense, and they are still figuring that out, especially in certain situations. I think it's more situational than just the macro of the game plan of the entire game.
I understand that. I don't disagree with you about Jake Elliott. I think that not pushing on the goal line, they scored a touchdown, and they called it back due to a Jordan Mailata hold. Don't think it was a hold, but it goes one way or the other. That's fine. You have to recover from that. Jordan Mailata went on TV and goes, "That's not a hold." I don't complain about the officials ever. That's what he said. But that happens. It happens in the football game. Later, when Saquon Barkley scored a touchdown, you could probably argue that Jordan Mailata did hold.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making is not that they didn't make mistakes on Monday. Something changed with the play calling or internally. Something changed. And when that changed, I feel like you get Lane Johnson back in 2 weeks. Jalen Carter's going to be back in 2 weeks. I think this Eagles team, I think they win another ugly game this week versus the Raiders. I think it's going to be ugly. Low scoring, probably 23-6, something of that nature. But Eagles fans, the same guy that predicted the Eagles would lose 3 straight games, I'm telling you, they're back. You can jump back on with full confidence. Just trust me. Trust me.
So
I got one more NFL top. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you then, with that being the case, where you're at right now, do you think it's a better chance that you're one and done or a better chance of making the Super Bowl as it stands right now today?
I just told you. I think they're going to make the Super Bowl. I think their biggest detriment is playing at Seattle. And if that has to happen, that's going to be a problem. But as it stands, Seattle is the 5 and Philadelphia is the 3. So I don't think that'll have to happen. They have to play at Seattle, they lose. They play indoor at Detroit. They play indoor at LA. If they play outdoor at Green Bay, I'm not really that concerned. We've done that. We've won that game. I'm concerned with playing at Seattle. That's my fear. Not concerned with playing at Chicago. That's not for here nor there. I think styles make fights. But I think you'll see a different Philadelphia Eagles team this next 4 weeks. I have one more football thing. I guess we'll get to it right after trivia. Actually, can we just do trivia like 5 minutes late so we can get right into college football afterwards?
Go me.
Shally, I'm going to ask you first because this is a control topic. Is Shedeur Sanders the best quarterback coming out of this past year's draft? He looks really freaking good. And honestly, if I'm a Browns fan, that game's great for me because I'm not winning the playoffs. I want to lose the game because I want to get a higher draft pick, and I want to see if I have a quarterback. I think everything that I wanted to happen happened.
I think he's played well. Again, you're talking about a 3-game sample size. I think you've seen enough to be optimistic, and you've seen enough to think that if you give him a full season and let him grow and actually, continue to put, weapons around him, that he could be successful. I think Jackson Dart has played well in a really bad situation, especially at the beginning of the year before everybody got hurt. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an outlandish statement.
Control?
I mean, I don't think it's an outlandish statement either. And I think that the part that's kind of frustrating is that if you looked at his college film, the conversation could have been had before the season started. I had him as number 2. No, I know. I mean, I know you did. I'm not saying you or Bill specifically. So I'm pretty sure we all had him top 2 as far as like the quarterback rankings go before the draft. But I'm just saying, as a fan of a team that also drafted 3rd-round quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, I said it the day that it happened. I said it during training camp. I said it during preseason. I said it during the season when they started Dylan Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback than him, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's the case. And I think that reps would have been invaluable to him, and they are invaluable to him now. So it's nice to see this progression. But seeing the progression that he made in Game 3, and I know it was against the Titans, but it wasn't the production. For me, it's more so the steps to it. Like, he only took 2 sacks, and they weren't necessarily bad sacks. Could he have got the ball out quicker? Yes, but the reads, the just knowing where to go with the football, the touch, like the knowing when to take off and run, like everything was beautiful. And the fact that the Browns have just been giving me this facade of that Dylan Gabriel is better or have been outperforming them in practice, like, we're seeing now what everybody in the world saw 10 months ago. You saw Dylan Gabriel at his best. You saw Shedeur at his best, and you knew who the better player was. As a Browns fan, it's just upsetting that we went through this entire season, essentially, where the guys who got all of the reps, all of training camp until 3 weeks ago, are no longer playing football or playing quarterback for us.
Oh, you're right. I mean, the Browns are no strangers to organizational malpractice. That's who they are.
Facts.
They're going to regret not using that 3rd-round draft pick on someone else. I agree.
Absolutely.
I don't ever think that Dylan Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders. What I thought was, did Shedeur Sanders have the emotional maturity to be an NFL quarterback? I didn't see it in the first week, and they were like touting how great he was with an 8 QBR. I seen it this week. He looked really good. And I talked to Control about last week because he watches the Browns obviously a little bit more than I do. But I've made sure to watch every Browns game on my All-22. I miss a game or two this year. Like, the seasons have been busy, but I've watched every single one of those games just so I can educatedly talk about it. So we got to get into trivia. We got NCAA. We got UFC. We got a lot to get into. Trivia time. Shal, are you ready?
Let's go.
Are you ready to bring the noise? The noise?
Bring the noise.
All right. I'm turning the comments off.
Crab cakes and football.
All right. Got a little fun one here. I think you guys are going to get through this. I think, may need some overtime here. I got an overtime question here for you as well. But in honor of Phillip Rivers signing to the Colts here, got the question of the top 10 oldest active NFL quarterbacks this season.
Does Rivers count?
Rivers does not count. He has not played it down yet.
Okay. I'll start. I get to go first. I'll go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, number 1, 42 years old.
I'll go with Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, number 2, 40 years old. Got the 2 40-year-old guys out the way.
Right out the way. All right. So now I got to go through my divisions. Now, when you say active, there's a question. Just want to make sure.
Yep.
Do they have to have taken a snap this year to be a backup?
They can be a backup, but they are on the active roster. They are not a practice squad player.
Okay, so that's interesting. Can I ask another question just quickly? I'm not trying to call. I just want to understand.
Depends on what the question is, but sure.
How many backup quarterbacks that haven't taken a snap are on this list? Like haven't taken a snap whatsoever. I'm not trying to be like a pain in the ass when I do this. I'm just trying to understand the lay of the land.
So I'll tell you this, just to kind of clarify it. 8 of these guys have been starting quarterbacks at 7 of these guys have been starting quarterbacks at some point this year. I know a couple of them have taken snaps just due to injuries here and there, but essentially you got 7 starters and 7, they've started games. 7 of them have started games. 3 of them are backups.
Okay.
Like bona fide backups.
Okay. I'll go with the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, 38 years old, on the list.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, tied, number 5 on the list, 37.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, a guy that is tied with Matthew Stafford at 37.
You mean Russ?
Russell Wilson, another one, tied, 37 years old. But for clarification there, though, guy like Russ, like he's one of those guys that I threw into that 7 category because he had been a starter, like a bona fide starter for his team.
He played. That's fine.
I'm just saying, like, just to get your mind.
I was going to have to find that are just not, you know what I mean?
Yep. Only 3. And you got one of them already.
Now I'm getting to the guys that I don't think are that old. Who's older? They wrote me off, and I didn't write back.
Oh, that's a good one.
Geno Smith is on the list. 35 years old.
I'm going with the man that I feel like is probably played for at least half the NFL teams at this point, Mr. Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor, number 8, 36 years old. You guys are missing the 3rd oldest quarterback and then the 10th oldest quarterback.
I feel like he's old. Can I go with Gardner Minshew?
Damn.
Gardner Minshew is not in the top 10.
I think he's got to be close. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with Carson.
Carson Wentz is not in the top 10.
I think Minshew's older than Carson.
They got to be close. He's in his 30s, though. It's got to be.
Oh. What are we doing? Sam Darnold has to be on this list.
Sam Darnold is not on this list. You got to think he was
drafted before Geno Smith.
No, he was Sam Darnold's 2017 class.
Okay.
With Rosen and Baker and
you're right. Oh my God!
That's a look, Gene. Bill, give me something.
I'll go with Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater, great guess, not in the top 10.
Bro, he was backup for Tom Brady. It's got to be Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett, another great guess, not in the top 10.
Bro, that was I was sure that Jacoby Brissett was on the list.
For what it's worth, you guys have got number 11, 12, and 13 with Bridgewater,
God.
Wentz, and Brissett. All right, next round, I will give hints.
Has he been active this year? Or has he been on an active roster? If he is, he's got to be up there. I'll go with Brady's other backup. I'll go with Jimmy G.
Jimmy G, number 10 at 34 years old.
Where's Jimmy G playing? Oh, he's Niners.
Rams.
No, Rams, sorry. You said next round we get hints, right?
I did.
I'll be humble enough to ask for him.
All right, so I don't want to go too far with it, but I will give you he's a backup quarterback in the NFC. I'll give you the division next round.
No.
Marcus Mariota.
No, is that it?
Marcus Mariota is not in the top 10.
It's the 2016 draft. If Wentz was 11, in my mind, I thought, or 2015 draft, Jameis and Marcus Mariota were the year prior.
Yeah.
Did I just say one?
No, I mean you're missing number 3. So this guy is I won't say it. I'll give you the age in a second. But
Who that?
He's the toughest guy on the list for what it's worth.
He's a rookie. It's not him. Oh, I know what team it is. I don't know who it is.
What's the team? I'll tell you.
I'm no, because I know. Because you probably know.
Oh, I got one. No, I don't. No, I don't like.
Oh.
I'll give you the division after.
As soon as you, I 100% know what division it is. I know what team it is. I don't know who the player is. And as soon as you say it, Gene will get it. I'll even text Cottrell the team.
What comes through here. So are you passing here?
I know the team. I just don't know who the player is. Am I right?
I'm not going to tell you now, unless this is Gene's turn.
All right, yeah, I'm passing.
All right, so he's in the NFC East.
Oh, then I'm right. God damn it! Did you look at your phone?
I did. I'm not going to tell you if you're right or not. I'm not going to put you on the right track.
I know that's who it is.
I'll give you the team after this round.
I mean, I can name you all the players in the NFC East. There's no way. No, can't be him. Can't be him. Can't be him. Is it Tommy Cutlets?
It is not. Bill.
I don't know who it is. I don't like. I can picture him too. I just don't know his goddamn name. He's been on he's another one Tyrod. He's been on 10 teams. How
many we missing?
You just one.
Just one. That's why I have 5. You have 4. Oh man, I don't even know the other teams he's playing for.
I was gonna say. I mean, I'll give another hint here if it helps. I mean, that means you're gonna pass, but I'm giving you time to figure it out.
What the hell's his first name? God, I hate being old. Do I have to give both names?
Yes, absolutely.
I can't say anything then.
If you say that last name, I'll get the first name.
Yeah, you know shit.
T3 and D. The question is top 10 oldest active quarterbacks in the NFL.
Who's asking?
T3 and D from YouTube.
I have my comments turned off. I'm sorry, I'm not replying.
I know his last name.
All right, 10 seconds. Give you 10 seconds.
Did I what? Oh my god! I can't. I got
from you.
I'm passing because I'm gonna try to figure out his first name. Because if I say his last name, I know Gene will get it.
All right. Fair enough.
God damn it!
Well, the team is the Washington Commanders.
Josh Johnson.
God damn it! Look at your phone.
Me?
No, him.
Oh.
Josh Johnson is correct.
As soon as you said the Commanders, I was starting to think about backups, and they signed Josh Johnson to be the backup to Mariota because Jaden Daniels was hurt. So what are we at?
He is active. It is 5-5. We are going to OT.
Okay.
I have my God damn it. Fucking my question just went away here.
Commanders, 49ers,
Tampa Bay. That's Tampa Bay is what made it click, and I was like, I couldn't think of his first name. God damn it.
And
I was about to say Jameis.
All right, perfect. Got the list back up here. We're gonna go through. It's not gonna necessarily be like super speed how we normally do, like the 10 seconds or whatever, but move pretty quickly here. I'll probably say closer to like 20 seconds or so. But active leaders in interceptions. You've got 16 guys 15 guys with 20 interceptions or more that are currently active in the NFL. We'll go till we get a wrong name and just kind of go from there.
Harrison Smith.
Well, you are not first. You got the last question right. Bill's gonna.
Oh, he gets to go first now. I thought we were in overtime.
Yeah, but you were behind. You had the last guess. You can't double guess in a row like he was.
Okay.
Bill?
I mean, I'll be a dick. I'll say Harrison Smith.
All right. Harrison Smith's number one.
Xavier McKinney.
Xavier McKinney is not in the top. Well, he does not have 20 interceptions. So we can end this quick.
Well, I do said it was top 10. He's top 10, right?
No, he's not top 10. I'm saying the top, it's top 15, and they all have 20 or more.
Okay. Well, I know
do I have to give another one? I'll give another one.
You do have to give another one.
I'll go Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey is at 25. Jalen Ramsey is in the top 13, top 15.
Xavier McKinney would be on there.
Xavier McKinney is right outside of it. He's got 19.
That makes sense. All right, well, good round, good game. We got
Josh Johnson. God damn. Never forget that the rest of my life.
I thought McKinney would be way up there, but he's younger, I guess. All right, well, we got to get into college football. Now, I am ready to get in a fight.
Well, before we do that, we got something else, my friend.
NFL pick 'em, my bad.
We got pick 'em.
Got back in my winning ways.
Gene is strengthening that lead there. So, ton of credit there.
Thank you.
There's two ties that are going to help him.
I have this week. I have a theme.
A theme.
It's a theme. I promise. It's a theme. Control. Who we go? It starts off.
All right. So I don't have a theme, but just things that I think are going to happen here this week. I like the under 42.5 Arizona Cardinals at Houston Texans. I think the Texans defense is playing absolutely incredible. I can easily see that game being a 21-10, 17-13 kind of football game with the Texans winning. But I like that under 42.5 number. I also think another game going on, 1 o'clock hour. I got the Buffalo Bills -1.5 at the Patriots. I think this game is going to be absolutely incredible, but I also think Buffalo, they need this game. And you're talking about desperation of Josh Allen, and is this his best opportunity? This is a game you absolutely have to pick up, especially after dropping the game in Orchard Park earlier this year. And then my last game, I got the Baltimore Ravens -2.5 going on the road to the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals look really good with Burrow. The Ravens have looked really bad, but again, Gene talks about how he thinks the Ravens are going to be a playoff team. And, I think the Ravens are a better football team than what the Steelers are. So I also believe that the Ravens are going to be a playoff team. Well, if that's going to be the case, they have to start winning football games. So I like the Ravens go out, cover that 2.5-point spread on the road against the Bengals.
All right. I'm going to start with the first game you mentioned and stuff. I'm just going to pick it. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Houston at home -9.5 against Arizona. Give me the Texans. Defense is rounding into form at the right time. D'Amico Ryans finally got the defense healthy. They are playing out of their minds. Again, they're the best defense in the league. It's either them or Seattle. 1-1A. Offenses look a lot better the last couple weeks. Went into KC, handled business. There's nobody playing with more confidence than the Texans right now. Give me the Texans at home. Buffalo at New England. New England +1.5. I think New England wins the game outright. I don't think Buffalo's been playing great ball the last couple of weeks. They got it in a shootout with Cincinnati. Kind of had a fluke play to win the game. If not, the Bengals were going to win that game. I like New England at home +1.5. Last but not least, Detroit at the Rams -5.5. Detroit's defense, again, the way that Rams offense is playing, the confidence Stafford and them are playing, especially at home, give me the Rams -5.5. I think they just put up too many points for Detroit to keep pace.
I have a team, and I don't learn lessons. I'm a very stubborn man. Cottrell, I got news for you. I don't think you're going to be picking up much ground this week. My theme is the old guard. And in that theme of the old guard, I'll start with the Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagons quite like the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Buffalo Bills -1.5 at New England. I like the Bills to win this game. I think they'll cover the 1.5. Second, Cincinnati's got nothing to play for. I think the game will be close, and every time the Ravens and Bengals play, it's normally a Ravens last-second win. Now, granted, Cincinnati won in Baltimore a couple weeks ago. I think Baltimore returns the favor this week. No T. Higgins. They can lock in on Jamar Chase. I'll take the Ravens -1.5 at Cincinnati. And for my last pick, it's an absolutely brutal spot. You play on Monday Night Football. You win in overtime. Your quarterback's hurt, and you got to go on the road to play at Arrowhead in a Steve Spagnuolo defense. Patrick Mahomes, whether they're out of it or not, I still think the Chiefs show up. I like the Chiefs -4.5 over the Chargers this week. So my picks are the old guard: the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens. That's my picks this week.
I like it.
All right. So, guys, College Football Selection Committee made decisions this pick. I'm going to piss some people off. I don't really give a shit. And I have arguments to be made for a couple of teams, but I want to play a game if you guys will humor me. I don't have too much time, but you guys pretend it like we weren't going to have much fucking time to talk about college football. I'm ready to talk some college football.
Okay.
All right.
I sent 4 teams earlier to you guys in a text message. Cottrell at least replied. Bill ignored me as usual. Bill, out of the 4 teams I sent, don't tell me what the College Football Committee should have did. I want to know what give me 2 of those teams that you think should have made the playoffs and 2 that shouldn't. They're the bottom 4 teams to make the playoffs based on the structure. It's Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, and BYU. So I want you to name me the 2 teams that you thought should have made the playoffs out of those 4.
Miami for sure. BYU definitely not.
So the answer is Alabama or Notre Dame.
What do you value more?
How have you not thought about this?
I have, but I mean not in this like this particular way. Probably Notre Dame.
Okay, so your picks to be out would have been Alabama and BYU.
Yep.
Cottrell.
My picks to have been out were Alabama and Notre Dame. So Miami, absolutely, no doubt about it, should have been in. And I'm not even a Miami guy, but should have been in. And then just again, based on resume, finished regular season 11-1. Granted, you lose to a team that's in the top 4. In Texas Tech, I know it happened twice, but BYU would have been my other team that made it in. Like if I was ranking these teams, they'd been my other one that made it in.
Mine is Miami and BYU. They're the two teams I think should have made it. No, I'm sorry. Notre Dame and BYU. Not Miami and BYU. Notre Dame and BYU. The two teams I thought that should have made it. Alabama and Miami should not have. So the game is this. You all have a unique task. Bill, you picked Miami. Cottrell, you picked Notre Dame, right?
No, I picked Miami and BYU.
All right, you picked Miami. See, this is what I want to do. I'll be the defense attorney for Alabama. I want you to be the defense attorney for BYU. And I want you to be the defense attorney for Miami. And our job is to make a statement to the college football committee. We're in the statement committee at 11 o'clock a.m. And we're making a statement to the committee of who should make it. And then we'll talk about who made it and why and how the situation plays out. So I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds to make a pitch. Your pitch is BYU. Your pitch is Miami. My pitch is Alabama. Okay?
Yeah.
So however you guys want to do this, first, second, third, I don't care. What number would you prefer to go?
I mean, I can go first because, I think my argument's easy.
Okay.
So if I'm BYU, coming in, pounding the table. So if in the Power 4 conference, we were 11-1. We have multiple wins within the top 25. We lost to a team that you guys value as a top 4 team in the country. You guys think that they've earned the right to have a bye, and I get it. 20-plus point losses aren't great to look at. However, if that's our only loss throughout the season, and we were 11-1, and you didn't penalize Bama for losing in the conference championship game, why are you penalizing us for losing in the conference championship game?
Okay. That's a good 30-second elevator speech. Charlie.
Again, it's easy for me. You're comparing 4 teams. My team is the only team that played another team in this group. We beat them beginning of the year soundly. We have shared common opponents. 3 of those 4 we beat by more points. And playing in a Power 4. Only 2 losses were 2 teams that were in the top 25 at the same time. Head-to-head, don't have to play a what-if situation with my team. We already saw the results on the field. They won. It's an easy decision to put Miami in over any of those 3 teams.
Okay, so I'm going to argue for the sake of Alabama. And I like your argument for BYU, and I would have added that we lost to the second best team in the country, possibly the best team in the country, twice. That's the only team we lost to. Texas Tech, the only game they lost this year was without their quarterback. I can't believe you didn't use that. You're a bad defense attorney. I'm just going to help you with that. The only game they lost was to the best team in the country.
I mean, I still don't know if they're better than Indiana or Ohio State. So
yeah,
I mean,
they're still 4th. They're still 4th. They're still 4th.
Only game they lost this year was a game without their quarterback.
I'm aware.
Okay, let's be clear. Best team in the country.
You can't say that. If we're doing real court thing, that's conjecture. Objection. That's hearsay. Can't do that. You'd stick to this. See, this is you have many qualities that would make you a great lawyer, and then others that would make you a horrible lawyer. And this is one of them. You have to stick to things that are factual.
Well,
they are the fourth. They are the facts are, as of right now, they are the fourth ranked team in the country. It is.
No. That's not facts.
It is facts.
It's not facts because we are in 11 a.m. See, this is the part of the game you don't get. It's 11 a.m. and we are the selection committee. It's a game. We're 11 a.m. selection committee. You can say what the committee did. We all agree what the committee did was wrong. All of us said a team that should have been in that wasn't in. So let's be clear that the committee is not the end all be all. It's not factual. That's their fucking opinion. So let me give my elevator speech.
Okay, but then we all could have said I should be in because the other three teams stink. That's not factual.
Well, the facts are Texas Tech played.
Go ahead. I'll let you go. Go ahead.
Played every game this season with their starting quarterback. They won in dominant fashion. So that's factual. All right. So my arguments for Alabama. The two teams I think that should have been out are Miami and Notre Dame. In the regular season, there's no argument who had the tougher schedule between Miami, Notre Dame, and Alabama. It's Alabama 100 times out of 100. Who has more quality wins? It's Alabama 100 times out of 100. So all three of us have 2 losses, and we're headed to the conference championship game. Oh, wait a minute. Notre Dame's not in the conference to play in the conference championship game to lose. And Miami didn't even make the conference championship game in the weakest of the Power 4 conferences, the ACC, who shouldn't even have a member in the goddamn playoffs. So our Roll Tide is being penalized because we lost in the toughest conference with more quality wins than the other 2 teams in this division. If they played in the conference championship game, who knows if they would have lost? We don't know. They didn't make it. We did. So if we would have abstained and took our asses out of that conference championship game, there was no doubt we're in. So why the hell are we discussing us losing a championship game in the toughest conference in the country? That's my argument for Alabama.
I think the argument against it would be, again, I think you look at all of the Power 4 conferences. I look at Ohio State. They were the 1 seed last week. Now they're the 2 seed because they lost. And I thought they might have dropped further than that, but they put them down at 2. You look at Alabama. They did not move. The only Power 4 loser of their conference championship game that did not move. You look at the Big 12, BYU dropped down, and you look at
I am arguing that BYU shouldn't drop down. That's my argument. I don't think we should drop down.
I get it. I know that's
lost 1 game during conference play. 1.
I agree.
And you lost to Texas Tech. It's the best loss out of all 3 teams that we're arguing. And they win the conference championship game, and they get eliminated from the playoffs because they lost to the same fucking team, who's numbered, in my opinion, my God's honest opinion, they're the best team in the country.
Eye test is what kills BYU.
What?
The eye test is what kills BYU.
Because the
only elite team they played this year was Texas Tech, and they got blown off the field by them twice. That's what kills BYU.
Are you picking Texas Tech to win the national championship this year then?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Best team in the country, Texas. I cannot wait until next week. I'm coming on Coast to Coast Saturday morning before I go to work, and I'm going to tell you that Texas Tech is going to beat the shit out of Oregon. I will bet my balls on it.
That honest for me, that is what hurt BYU. I think if BYU loses by a walk-off field goal or something on a neutral field, I think that would have crushed Alabama. I really because Alabama looked just equally as terrible against Georgia in the SEC championship game. I'm still shocked they didn't hold the Florida State loss against them. But apparently that just doesn't matter that much this year.
Yeah,
but
if I was in that room though, Bill, my argument's simple. Delete the conference championship game for a minute. we're arguing Notre Dame, Miami, and Alabama. Forget BYU for a minute. We're arguing those 3 teams. One team has to make it. Yep. All 3 of us have 2 losses. Who has more quality wins? Alabama.
Yeah.
Who plays in a tougher conference between the 3 of them?
Alabama.
So because we made the conference championship game in the toughest conference, you're going to hold that against us.
They also have the worst. They have the worst loss out of the 3 of them by a mile. They lost the game to a 5-win team.
Well, Miami's got a really bad loss too, brother. Let's not.
Miami's losses are to 2 8-4 teams. That's not as bad as
not in the same not in the same universe.
Hold on, week 1, Florida State. Do we not agree that teams change during the year? You know
they do change, but you still play the games. They have to count because if not, then call it preseason. You can't because you can't want all. If Alabama wins that game, that they want all the roses in the world for winning it. You can't do that. You can't get all the advantages of it, but then say 10 weeks later it doesn't matter. You can't do it.
Louisville was 8-4 and went into Miami and won a football game.
Correct. Who's better, Louisville or Florida State?
Florida State.
No, you can't say that.
I can say that. They played each other. Florida State beat them.
It wasn't each other.
I don't think they did.
I know. I just made that up. I was hoping to be right. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to
you get disbarred in a week. He'd win 2 trials, and the third one they'd be like, "You're not allowed to do law anymore. Get out of here."
If I was right, that would have been a perfect response. I didn't play.
For what it's worth, too. I mean, if you look at it again, all of these, these losses are ACC, SMU, Louisville, Florida State. Florida State is the lowest one in the ACC. They are below both of those other teams. So I don't know how you can really compare those losses because it's not like with Florida State that there was like a key injury throughout the year where they just kind of fell off the map there.
Nope.
What it was that they caught a Bama team that wasn't prepared. Like this was the same Florida State team pretty much all year. And after that Virginia game kind of exposed them for who they were, and they took that slide, but there was no additions or subtractions to that team. It was that's who they are.
Control. The funny thing is, though, Notre Dame had the easiest argument. Notre Dame's argument. I wish that I could have been I could argue for Notre Dame, and I would have got them in the playoffs. Guys, listen to me. You want to tell me that you're not going to put me in the playoff? That's fine. You've lied to me all year. You've ranked me in the college football playoff every week since the rankings started. You ranked me ahead of Miami. We've won every game since our first 2. We've been the most dominant football teams since our first 2 games. Who's playing better, Notre Dame or Miami? It's Notre Dame.
No, it's not.
Who's playing better now, Bill?
It's not.
Since
I'm saying, coming down the stretch, they played 4 of the same teams. The last 6 weeks of the season, Miami beat 3 of them by more points. And in the last 2 weeks of the season, they played Cal and they played Stanford, who combined, I believe, have 5 wins. So, yeah, Notre Dame should look good when they're playing a bunch of team of misfits. I don't care if they're winning by 20 points. You should be beating shitty teams by 20 points. That's what you're supposed to do.
They didn't play Stanford. They didn't play Cal. They played Stanford and Syracuse.
Sorry, you're right. Syracuse is worse than Cal.
They are.
Thank you for making my point even stronger. And I said it 3 weeks ago because they did it with Oregon and they did it with a couple other teams. Teams that went out and had better teams to play at the end started moving forward, and the teams that were playing cupcakes started going backwards. And we knew this was going to happen. I said it 3 weeks ago. If Notre Dame ends up on the same line next to Miami, they're going to put Miami in. The college committee gave themselves an out. And what do? They go out and play Syracuse. Then they go out and play Stanford. Miami finished the year playing against a ranked Pittsburgh team and Miami beat them worse. My point exactly. So now it doesn't matter. If you've played each other head to head and then you've played 4 common opponents and you beat 3 of them By more points. Who's the better team?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what the final score of the Pitt Miami game was.
It's only like a 3
Miami
or 4
was
point difference.
38-7.
Yeah.
So they beat them. Miami beat them by 31. Notre Dame beat them by 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a possession. And I hate to say it too. Like you look at like the first game, like Miami kept them in the game. Like if you watch that game, go rewatch that game. Nick Saban even said it on Saturday.
You're right.
They beat the shit out of them.
But the argument is, why did the College Football Playoff Committee have me ranked ahead of Miami all season long, and then we're idle? We're both idle. We both don't.
It's a week to week evaluation. So when you're playing Syracuse and you blow them out, and somebody else is playing right behind you, is playing a ranked team.
But
that team. That's how Oregon went from 8 to 5 in 2 weeks.
So, Bill, we're on the same side here. But to Gene's point, though, the change happens when both teams were idle. He's saying that if you were going to make that assertion that Miami's better because they look better versus Pitt than Notre Dame did versus Stanford, you should have done that 2 weeks ago.
And that's why I told you Notre Dame was rooting their hearts out for BYU, because if not, they get put in the same group to evaluate next to each other. So that's what was going to happen.
I agree, and that's
BYU makes it. Notre Dame doesn't make it either.
Well, then you have the argument of Notre Dame could be in over Alabama. Like I think that would be the argument that you have there, because you don't have the tiebreaker between them and Miami, because they're all not like right next to each other. I ultimately think that to Bill's point, like what he was ultimately getting to is once you have Notre Dame and Miami right next to each other, it's like, cool. We both have 2 losses. We both have played common opponents. And at the end of the day, we played each other out there on the field. And Miami won the football game. So if they're right next to each other, the committee was essentially handcuffing themselves, to a safe pick, because they were consistently having a team in between Notre Dame and Miami throughout the entire selection show, throughout the entire, show of rankings. You never saw Miami right next to Notre Dame, because there would not have been a way to justify that. Once they were in a position where you put the 2 teams right next to each other, now they could say, well, they were right next to each other. And, ultimately that means that Miami gets the edge because they won the head-to-head. I knew it was going to happen when last Sunday, or last Tuesday, the Tuesday before, this conference championship week, they had the committee chairman on ESPN, and he said, idle teams will be able to move. As soon as he said that, I knew that if Miami ever ends up right next to Notre Dame, they will get the bump over them.
And that was them giving themselves an out. And then that didn't happen. And it made it easy because, again, not for nothing. Like that is when you're putting those 2 teams in a pod and so you have to pick one of them, that is the easiest choice in the world to make based on the criteria. It's easy. Boom, boom, boom. Go to the next one. And that's why they gave themselves the out to do it the way they did it.
I also think it's tragic what they did to A&M. Like tragic. So, but long story short, Ole Miss past A&M is just fucking stupid to me. A&M being 6. Listen, A&M probably should be 5, but A&M being 6, you at least get Tulane, right? You get like a walkthrough. A&M dropping to 7, now you get Miami. Now you get a team that can beat you.
I agree with you, and then I wouldn't have dropped A&M to where they dropped to, but
the only argument that I have that I would say would be on your side is the Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss. Like if they would have said that Ole Miss goes to 7 because of that, then sure. But you look at A&M and the teams that they've faced throughout their SEC conference schedule. I want to say only one of them had a winning record within the SEC, and it's like not one of the top schools. Like they don't have. I mean, they have the win over Notre Dame, but outside of that, to me, I think their resume is rather weak. Like, yes, they went 11-1, but as a whole, you look at their composite of wins. Like, I think their on paper resume is not what you would think it should be, as opposed to Ole Miss, who has, I would say better quality conference wins. And, of course, they have the loss to Georgia. I even think their loss is better. You got the loss to Georgia as opposed to A&M, who's got a loss to 3-loss Texas. So In my opinion, I think they made it right. The only thing that for me would have circumvented it is if they said, well, Lane Kiffin's not coaching, so we'll drop you the extra spot and give A&M the
man, you win at Death Valley, you win at Notre Dame, you win
Valley stinks this year.
They were ranked 20th when they beat them. LSU fell off the map.
They were off the map before that. They were off the map before that game happened. That was the game Brian Kelly got fired. Like, it wasn't just this overnight thing. That was brewing the entire way.
When you say they're off the map before that, I don't agree with you. They lost to Vanderbilt by 1 possession. They lost to Ole Miss by 1 possession. Both games were on the road. The game versus A&M was the one that ended their season. That weren't off the map before then. Then they lose to Bama afterwards. So I wouldn't say they were off the map.
I look at it. It's not just the games that they lost, though. I also look at I saw how close the game was against Clemson, and I know Clemson stinks. I saw how close the game was against Florida when DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions, and I know they stink. So it wasn't just the losses there. I'm talking about what I saw LSU, the product that LSU put on the field week in and week out. So yes,
those games. Why doesn't Ole Miss get penalized for playing a close game versus LSU then?
I mean, of course you can throw that in there, but Ole Miss also has better quality wins than what A&M has in the conference. That's my argument.
Okay. What's Ole Miss's best one?
Let's take a look.
Their best win is who? Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's a playoff team.
Okay. Best one was home versus Oklahoma. Or it was at Never mind.
All so right. You got 2 wins over playoff teams, and you had a 1 possession loss to Georgia on the road, as opposed to Texas A&M.
You gave the Tulane as a playoff team.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, the facts are facts. So
I was wondering where you're playoff teams. I looked at it again. I'm like, wait a minute.
Facts are facts. So you got 2 wins over playoff teams, and you got a 1 possession loss to Georgia, as opposed to Texas A&M, who, their best win is Notre Dame. I get it. Team that's not in the playoffs.
At South End, but team. All right. Anything else college football we need to? We're not getting through this without talking about the fact I've changed my quarterback rankings. I've changed them.
Quarterback rankings?
I changed my quarterback ranking. We got to talk about Heisman, but I've changed. Mendoza's better than Sayin.
Oh, brother.
He is. He's a better quarterback right now. Maybe in the future, Julian Sayin will be better, but throwing the football, Mendoza is a better thrower of the football than Sayin.
That's just not.
Why is that not true? Who's throwing the better receivers?
Julian Sayin.
Oh, so you're telling me you watched that football game and the way they both threw the football, and you left that football game saying Julian Sayin's a better thrower of the football than Fernando Mendoza?
For me, it's not just leaving that football game. I look at it as Indiana did a great job getting pressure on the quarterback. I also look at it as Ohio State did not have a
number 1 pick as an edge rusher.
That's cool. I watched. That's cool. Again, player wise, that's cool. Like I know who the personnel that's on the field. I'm talking about what actually happened out there on the field. I'm talking about who was out there rushing the passer. Arvell Reese wasn't disruptive in that Big Ten championship game. He wasn't getting after Mendoza. So that's ultimately what I'm getting at there with that. I don't leave that game saying Mendoza's the better quarterback. Did he have the better game? Yeah, I'll give him the better game out of the 2 of them. But I leave it more so as I thought there was a lot of questionable play calling decisions. And I also look at it as Indiana's defensive line dominated Ohio State's offensive line in that matchup. So I don't know how you leave looking at it as Mendoza's bona fide better quarterback in the game.
I don't know how you can ask that question. So Mendoza's going to win the Heisman over Julian Sayin. So for a whole season, the country is going to tell you that Mendoza had a better season. And when they played together, Mendoza outplayed him. So I don't know how you can say, take off the Ohio State hat for a minute. I don't know how you can say you don't know.
Add in logic of not just you're looking at the players who played on the field and they're going to be a first-round pick. They're going to be a first-round pick. I'm looking at it as what actually happened on the field.
I mean, statistically, they were really close to what happened in the game. I think you could say, I mean, again, I think him beating Julian head-to-head is going to carry weight. I don't know if it should, but I mean it always does. I think his Heisman moment in Penn State. I don't know if Julian really had that wow moment, but I mean you could also argue he didn't have to. So I think it's close. I mean, listen, you're comparing a 20-year-old, what's he, redshirt freshman still, Julian?
Yep.
He's 20 though. And Mendoza, who, has pretty much had success everywhere. I would still say 5 years down the road, I think Julian's probably a better NFL quarterback. But
no.
No, I mean, as of listen, I mean, Kucherov put the
Julian saying probably better. I said right now, Fernando Mendoza is a better quarterback.
I think it's really close.
Okay, that's fair. I'm fine with you being an Ohio State fan saying that Julian Sainz is a better quarterback from there. I don't think it's a crazy statement, but what I have a problem with is you thinking it's a crazy statement for me to say Fernando Mendoza is better right now.
I don't think it's a crazy statement. I think it's a crazy statement saying that after just watching that one football game.
No. I watched Fernando. I watched.
You just said I'm changing my quarterback rankings. So you saw the championship,
right? If they were close, and I watched them play head to head, and one was 1 and the other one was 2, and 2 outplayed 1, I can't change my mind on who's better.
But I'm going off of what you just said. You quite literally, you told me on one hand that it wasn't based off that one game, but now you're telling me, well, they just played head to head, and now I'm picking him because he won the head to head matchup.
If the whole body of work was very close, but Julian Sainz was better going into the game, and Fernando Mendoza outplayed him in the game, and now the total body of work, Fernando Mendoza is better. Who Julian Sainz was the favorite to win the Heisman before the game. Fernando Mendoza, Diego Pavia was the favorite. Julian Sainz was second, but after the game, Fernando Mendoza is now the favorite to win the Heisman. So everyone changed their opinion after that game.
But because he won the football game.
Correct.
I mean, again, statistically in the game, statistically for the season, they're very close. They're very close.
But he looked better in the game too. So it wasn't just he won the football game. He looked better.
He had two nice deep balls in that football game. Outside of that, he ran their offense just like Julian Sainz ran the offense. They scored 13 points on offense. Julian Sainz scored 10 on offense.
They missed 3 deep balls that hit receivers' hands. Now, granted, Ohio State defended it well, but those balls were thrown perfectly. Look, I went away from that game. I picked Ohio State in the game, man. I went away from that game with a wow factor of Mendoza. And I just wanted to make that point clear. It's fun talking about this. I love getting fired up conversations. I respect your opinion. I think Julian Sainz is going to be incredible. I love the kid's attitude. Listen to him talk after the Michigan game. And once again, another full game that I watched Julian Sainz play. I've watched Julian Sainz play 4 games this year. I didn't want to lie. I almost said 5. It's 4. But I watched enough of both of them to have an opinion. I'm not like,
of course, which is fine. I'm saying that if you think Mendoza's better, I'm good with that. I disagree, but I'm good with that. I'm saying that there was nothing definitive in the Big Ten championship game where I was like, Mendoza is definitely the better quarterback. That's all.
I just clearly watched Sainz play versus Texas, versus Penn State, versus Michigan, and versus Indiana. They're the 4 games I watched. I don't want to pretend to you I watched versus Minnesota. I didn't watch him play versus UCLA. I didn't. So those are the games I watch, and I make my decisions based off of that. I didn't watch a whole bunch of tape on Julian Sainz. I watched those 4 football games.
But I also think to that exact point, and Bill brought it up too. Mendoza had his Heisman moment at Penn State in a game where they were down. What was it, 20-15, or I don't know what the exact score was, but they were down. He had 100-something yards and 1 interception. Like that was the Heisman. That was the Heisman moment for him. And to Julian's credit, but ultimately, his detriment as well. He never had that. The first tight game that he had was the Big Ten championship game against Indiana, where he led his team down the field, and they had a chip shot field goal, and Jaden Fielding misses a 27-yarder to tie the football game up.
Why can't you guys freaking get a good kicker?
So the thing is that we have a kicker that is his backup right now, who was a transfer from Ball State, who was one of the best kickers in the country apparently last year percentage-wise.
Why is that?
And now we're having a kicking competition yet again. I don't know why we
college football playoff. We didn't have that 3 weeks ago.
The thing is with Fielding is that, again, Ohio State has not had any close games pretty much all season outside of the Texas game week 1. So you don't run into issues where one score ball games and exactly. So you don't know you're putting them out there in low pressure situations where it's like, all right, we're going to turn this 14-point lead to a 17-point lead, as opposed to we're down 3. We need this field goal to potentially go to overtime. And you don't see that until the Big Ten championship game. So that's where we're at right now. I'm just saying, I think looking at it, I know Indiana missed a kick there as well. But for me, I thought this game was very even between the two of them. That's all I was kind of getting at.
Real quick, I want to pick a bracket. You don't have a graphic for a bracket, do you?
I had one. Just give me 1 second here. I can throw it up.
I want to pick a graphic. I want to pick a bracket real quick of the college football playoff. Just want to get your national championship game now. Guys, we're going to go a little late tonight. I'm sorry. We're going to have 2 weeks for off. We need UFC. We're going to cut NBA. So if you're waiting for NBA, it's not talking about it. Sorry. But we're going to go a little late tonight. Not crazy, but want to get your national championship pick based off the bracket. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
All
right, give me 1 second here. Throw that.
Katrell, how do you feel about getting screwed with the Friday night game, by the way?
I'm okay with it. I don't really, one way or another, I really don't care. At the end of the day, you're going to have to beat good teams. You're going to have to beat them on a certain day. Whatever the case may be, you line up, you play football. I don't care.
We'll play 2 out of 3, and then we'll give our national champion. Is that fair?
Sounds good to me.
Alabama, Oklahoma. I'll take Bama.
I'll take Oklahoma.
God damn it! And they both suck right. And then they both suck right now.
Agreed. I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme, but
I'll go Oklahoma just because they're home.
All right, so we all got IU winning there.
All right, IU going to the semis.
Top left Final Four IU. Oregon versus Texas. Can I just skip JMU?
Absolutely not. You're gonna give the Duke some respect, damn it.
I'll
take Oregon.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take Oregon as well. But damn it, we're going to respect JMU.
We're going to have it out. It's Oregon, though.
I have Texas Tech over Oregon, and I'm sure of it.
I do as well.
Texas Tech.
Sorry, Alex.
We'll leave that side for now. I have Miami over A&M.
Same.
I would have A&M over Miami, but I get it.
I have Ohio State over Miami.
Same.
Ole Miss or Tulane, guys.
Take Ole Miss.
Take Ole Miss.
I don't want to skip over Tulane.
I don't care if you disrespect them. I don't care. JMU's different.
I'll take Georgia over Ole Miss, especially without Lane Kiffin.
Agree. Georgia's starting to play like Georgia.
I'll take Georgia, but I think that game can be very close. That might be the most entertaining game with that round.
I'll tell you right now, I think Miami, Ohio State's closer than you think it is.
I'll tell you, if I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm a huge Texas Tech fan because I don't want to see Indiana again.
Well, you want to see Texas Tech either. You got to be
I'd much rather see Indiana just lost their best defensive lineman.
That's true.
To an injury, so I would much rather see Indiana. I got Tech over Indiana. I also would have Texas Tech over Indiana.
Oh, it's gonna be
no, I'm lying. I'm taking Indiana.
He thinks Tech's going to win the game. This is him doing his projection stuff, so he gets what he wants in the final. He's got to see through Kachell's bullshit. Like,
Mendoza, Heisman Trophy moment against all odds against Tech.
Here you go. See, he thinks Tech's going to win. He just wants to play Indiana again. So I'm going Tech.
I have Ohio State over Georgia.
Same.
Same.
A little revenge.
I have Texas Tech over Ohio State.
I'd have Ohio State over Texas Tech.
Oh, God. I have Ohio State.
That'd be a banger. Ohio State, Texas Tech.
Oh, man. I can't
My
wait.
coach got fired for fucking an intern and got arrested. And you guys are going back-to-back natty. It's unbelievable.
Oh, Texas Tech lost one game without their quarterback.
They did.
Yeah,
Every other game they played, they dominated.
20+ wins every game.
They haven't played anybody near as good as Ohio State.
I follow. But when they played anybody, they dominated.
For me, I think you know a lot about. I mean, you know a lot about all these teams after the games really get going. But you beat
Texas Tech, Oregon's gonna be a banger. I'm telling you that right now.
You beat Oregon and then beat Indiana. I mean, you are obviously you're in national championship, so you're there. But there's no doubt about who Texas Tech is if that's the case.
You're right. We got crazy UFC card.
Real quick before we go to UFC, you got Mendoza winning the Heisman?
Yeah, of course.
Bill, you Mendoza as well?
I think that's gonna. For me, I'd love to see Pavia win, but he's not going to. Mendoza's gonna win.
For me, I think they give the Notre Dame running back the consolation prize. I got Jeremiah Love winning it. I truly don't think, and I said it during the game at halftime. Bill can back me up on this. I said if this game continues how it's going during the Big Ten championship, if this game continues how it's going, neither Mendoza or Sayin should win the Heisman. And I think granted, there was more points. I know he had the touchdown in the corner. Mendoza had a touchdown in the corner in the end zone in the second half there. But for me, there was nothing that really stood out in that game. I think they give it to Jeremiah Love.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's okay.
I think Love had a really good game against USC and every other decent team they played.
Look at the odds. The decision's already made.
I love Jeremiah Love, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him. But
what are the odds right now?
Fernando Mendoza is minus 1,000. Diego Pavia is plus 600. Jeremiah Love's plus 10,000.
Sheesh.
What's saying?
Plus 10,000.
Dang. No shot. I will say it's kind of an underwhelming Heisman class, if I'm being honest.
I was looking at that pictures the last few years of like the Heisman
the finalists.
Yeah, like the finalists, the pictures of each one.
Mm-hmm.
Last year it was probably one of the most underwhelming Heisman. So I think this year this year's class in 10 years was better than last year's class.
What was last year's?
As a class, probably yes, but as far as a season goes, absolutely not. Genty's better than Love. You had the running back. You had Travis Hunter playing both ways. You had Gabriel, who I'd argue his stats, if he was playing this year, he'd probably be your Heisman Trophy winner.
I'm talking about as an NFL players.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I can give you that.
But that's what I'm saying is when you look at these classes in 10 years, you're going to say the group that's there this year is going to have a better NFL career. Future.
They both have one NFL bust bona fide in it.
You're talking about Diego Pavia?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know how much of a bust he is because I don't know when he gets drafted.
Well, okay, bust might not be the right word. Gabriel was a 3rd round pick. I guess you can still probably be a bust from there too. I'm just saying, who aren't going to be starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's not going to be an impactful player. I get it.
It's funny. The odds to make the national championship, Ohio State and Indiana are your favorites.
Plus what? 250?
No, to make the national championship, Ohio State's minus 125.
Oh my God. That's insane.
And Indiana's plus 105. Texas Tech's great money at plus 340.
I think Texas will drop dramatically if they handle Oregon. If you're gonna, to Gene's point, if you're gonna bet Texas Tech, bet them now.
Yeah.
Because if they go out and smash Oregon, you're not gonna make money on Texas Tech anymore.
All right, guys. Got to get an UFC card.
I broke my arm.
Oh,
So that was, I mean, that's not the way me and Cottrell want to win that pick.
facts.
Pantoja looked really good for the first minute and a half of the fight, but you never know what happens there. Falls on his arm, it's done. Look, the card was great as a whole. That fight ends up being a little bit of a dud because of the injury. You can't really project that. Like, it's not something to, I don't know, like, it's unfortunate for Pantoja. He's been dominant. He's been very good. The undercard of the fight, man, Tatsuro Taira is a star. Peyton Talbot is a star. Those two guys are going to be incredible fighters in this division for a long time. I want to at least put those two fighters out there because I've been big on them. I projected them. I think both those guys are going to be really good in the UFC for years. Any statements there before we get into the main event?
I don't disagree.
No, I mean, Cejudo calling it quits. I mean, it was definitely a long time coming. You haven't won a fight in 5 years there. But I agree. All the guys you mentioned there are definitely going to be stars.
Tatsuro Taira is just knocking out Brandon Moreno, and the way he did it was just incredible.
I will say that fight is one where I thought it was an early stoppage. Like, I thought Moreno was, still there, and I thought he had a way of getting out of it, especially seeing his reaction like immediately after. Yeah. And Moreno's definitely been one of those guys who is he's one of the ones that falls on his sword. So I thought it was a little bit early there, but that doesn't take away from the dominant fashion, that was had by Taira in that fight.
You think anything changes if they don't stop it?
I mean, I think it potentially goes to, gets
out of that. I think 5-6 seconds go by and it's over anyway.
That's possible, but I also think, if that fight keeps going on, like I've seen Moreno kick it into gear in, later rounds and maybe third round. I still think he loses for what it's worth, but maybe it goes to decision, maybe
in a 3-round fight.
For sure.
So unless I don't think Moreno's knocking him out. I don't think the decision changes. I actually think the fight, if it got stopped early and you let it go another 5-6 seconds, it would have got stopped 5-6 seconds later. He was in a really bad spot. I don't think he was getting out of it.
No.
The fight I want to talk about, and I just spent a couple minutes here, is Merab versus Peter Yan. Now, the scorecards were 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47 Peter Yan. I watched that fight a second time because originally I scored it 3-2 for Merab.
Really?
Yeah. I felt like Merab won the first 3 rounds. I felt like they were both really all close rounds.
Okay.
But I felt like Merab, and the stats will back up my statement, and he landed more strikes, 196 to 159. The significant strikes were the same. The control was double. He had 5 minutes of control versus Peter Yan's 2. The point was, it was shocking the way Peter Yan was stopping each takedown attempt. The 4th and 5th. Now, here's when I rewatched the fight. I gave the 3rd, 4th, and 5th to Peter Yan. I had him winning 3-2. The third was the one that was kind of questionable to me. Peter Yan was incredible in that fight. But I think the shock effect that Merab didn't dominate him played a role in the scoring.
I can definitely see that. To me, I think the question in my mind, I thought just watching it, I've only watched it once. Like, I watched it live, and I thought definitively he in Peter Yan, I thought definitively he won rounds 3, 4, and 5. So I had it 3-2, and new for Peter there. I thought round 2 was a questionable one, though. I thought that was like, are you talking about round 3 kind of being questionable? For me, I kind of had that in round 2 where I thought it could have gone either way. And the guys who I was watching the fight with, they had it. 2 of them had Merab winning that round, and then I was with them as well. And then 2 other ones had Peter winning that round. So I thought it could really go either way there. I thought it was a 48-47 fight there, but I definitely can see how the shock factor would be a part of that, because Peter was the aggressor the entire fight. You're used to Merab killing people with pace and, always moving forward and things like that. For pretty much the entirety of that fight, Merab was on his heels, and Peter was trying to walk him down. And every time that Merab would try a takedown, Peter was stuffing it. Or even the one time that he got a takedown, Peter got up pretty much right away from it. So I do think, what round was it that he had tried the submission, but it really wasn't going anywhere? I think it was the second round. But ultimately for me, I thought Peter won the fight, and I thought it was very surprising to see. But as a whole, though, I'm good with and new. Usually, you say beat the champion. I thought Peter did a good job of actually doing that in a decision fight.
So, Bill, I love to get your opinion on this. I guess the one thing that I want to point out, and even to Cottrell, I think Peter Yan's been on the bad end of 3 brutal decisions. I thought he beat Aljamain the first time. Well, the first time they fought, they called it a
yeah.
The second time they fought, I had Peter Yan winning 3-2 with Aljamain winning rounds 2 and 3, the rounds that he backpacked. I had Peter winning 1, 4, and 5. Ultimately, the judges seen Aljamain winning 1, 2, and 3, the deciding round being 1. And I thought there was no doubt in my mind that Peter Yan beat Sean O'Malley. So it was nice for Peter Yan to get that win, because I felt like you can't keep screwing this guy. What did you think?
I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, I think it's a lot of vindication for Yan too. Like, you go through those decisions like that in big fights. Sometimes you don't get back to the top. But every time, he would lose a fight like that, Dana would put him up against somebody else good, and big bang win. Like he never let himself leave the picture. And I think you have to, give him credit for that. And then also, again, I think it's a big head game. I mean, to your point, I think if you're in, listen, I mean, we see these guys always celebrate at the end of these fights, but I think deep down they usually know when they won or lost. And he genuinely thought he won all those fights. So to watch those decisions be read and like just see it on his face, like to your point, like what the hell do I have to do? Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's a lot of vindication for him. I really do. Like, I am this good. I can beat these guys. And for him, it's got to feel pretty. It's got to feel pretty incredible for him.
Agreed. And I mean, I think to that point too, Gene, about the losses. I mean, I personally had Aljamain winning the one fight. The O'Malley one, I haven't ever gone back and watched that fight, but I thought it could have gone either way. Like I didn't think that one as definitive as what you guys did, but I thought it could have went either way. I was leaning Yan. But this one for me, like I said, I truly think that he did enough to get it done. And I'm very curious because we talked about it last week on the show and we're doing the preview. The matchup, the first time with Merab and Peter, it was probably the closest 50-45 fight you'll ever see. It was definitively 50-45, but it was a close 50-45. I didn't truly think that there would be that much that Peter could change going into this fight, but clearly there was. He worked on his takedown defenses. He was not getting taken down as much. And in my opinion, I think he worked on his cardio there as well because he was able to go at Merab's pace and push that pace forward. Now I think that Merab has done enough as a champion, and I think that fight was close enough to warrant an immediate rematch. And so whether it be 5-6 months down the line, I'd be very curious to see what Merab's new strategy is going in to this upcoming fight to see if he can get his belt back.
think the UFC needs to look at what they call takedowns, by the way, like takedown attempts. Was I the only one that watched that first round and was like,
25 was such a high number for.
They said he had 10 takedown attempts in the first round.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's wild.
3. Like,
yeah.
What are we watching?
I'm assuming they're just counting when he puts his head down and shoots. Doesn't even make contact, but he just kind of shoots a little bit, which would be wild. But
it's probably considered an attempt.
It's also, I will say though, also those numbers are the unofficial stats from the UFC there. So I don't know what the actual number was at the end, but I was with you. I thought the numbers, because I think at a point it said he was like 225.
Joe Rogan said he fell for 5 on takedowns. Joe Rogan goes 5. It was like first takedown attempt. Did you say 5? Well, you heard it. Like if you listen to broadcast again, you can actually hear it. But all right, we're running late. Let's get in. You gotta be kidding me.
All right. So for me this week, I got one, and it's going to be get to it. Oh, I got Notre Dame opting out of a bowl game. So obviously Notre Dame was on the outside looking in of the college football playoff, and pretty much right after the news dropped, they announced that they were opting out of a bowl game. Well, Notre Dame, a couple things here. If you wanted a guaranteed shot at a bowl game, one thing you could have done was join a conference. You go out, you win your conference championships, you're guaranteed a spot into the playoff. The other thing you could have done was beat Miami. So for you to just kind of go out here and you're taking your ball and going home because the committee didn't think that you deserved to be in the playoffs, it is absolutely wild to me. You got players that ultimately, again, you're not in the conference. So you got players who may not have realized that was the last time they're going to play football when they were out there on the field against Stanford. And to just come out and say that you're not playing in a bowl game, it is selfish. And I get it. You don't want to put money in ESPN's pocket, and they're the ones that's, shuffling money to the CFP and things like that. But at the end of the day here, this, to me, I think it somewhat validates the committee's decision that you guys are a bunch of, spoiled, entitled people at Notre Dame, and just felt like, if it's not your way, then essentially it's the highway. So for me this week, Notre Dame deciding to opt out of a bowl game.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Sean?
Yeah.
I think this one's too fun. I can't wait.
Yours is good.
What?
I said yours is good.
So the World Cup, I can't. The World Cup decided they wanted to have a pride game. And that to me, that's perfectly fine. You want a LGBTQ plus community, and you want to have a game with rainbow flags to have a pride game for FIFA. FIFA had this game scheduled before the schedule came out. This was way before we knew who was going to play in the match. It's in Seattle, great spot for it, makes perfect sense. Then the game came out of who was going to play in the game, and it's Egypt versus Iran. 2 countries who criminalize homosexuality and impose severe punishments for it will play that day. You gotta make a change here, guys. FIFA has come out and said they're not going to change the game. I completely disagree with this. You have 8 months to make these plans and change this. You have to make a change here. It is hilarious how the draw, and guys, I probably wouldn't have watched Egypt versus Iran in this matchup. I probably wouldn't have watched it. I will be tuned in to watch this matchup if it continues. It's going to have the Egyptian fans, the Iranian fans, and the Pride fans in the same stands, playing on a rainbow field. If this isn't the definition of a you got to be kidding me, I don't know what is. 2 countries who criminalize homosexuality are playing in the Pride game in Seattle. FIFA. Is this a troll job? Because it is. It's a really crazy one. I would change it. I think it should be changed. But if it's not changed, it's a perfect you got to be kidding me. So for this week, FIFA, Iran, Egypt.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I can't. I barely could get that out. It's too funny.
I just don't know how they're not going to change it. I know they can say that now, but they got to do something different. And the short sightedness just to randomly pick a game, not knowing who the hell is going to go there yet, and like knowing, I would say probably better than half the countries in the World Cup don't really recognize or get into that stuff. That's some crazy planning. That's some, I don't even know what to call that.
Those are two of the most severe countries that are against it, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I get, listen, if you had France and, England, I know they're not in the same bracket. I think that would go over fine. Like, it's just
almost any other country, almost any other countries playing each other.
Yeah, so Japan and Brazil, no one's going to give a shit.
Yeah.
But Egypt and Iran?
I think what also might be bad is that you may have people honestly boycott that game. Like, I don't think that you won't have the turnout essentially that you would have wanted that to be. Like, I think that can get bad for them. I hope they do change it. That's funny. I saw you send something, but I didn't see what it was. I didn't read into it, so that's funny.
You better hope the players don't try to boycott it. Then you have a whole nother mess on your hands.
I can't understand how that's the game.
Short-sighted to say the least.
Any final thoughts, Sean?
No, I mean, I really got nothing. I just never thought I'd see the day that Michigan coach should get fired for cheating. And here we are.
I mean, it's a different version of cheating.
I know,
yeah.
But I'm actually disappointed. I was hoping that Sharon Moore was there for the long haul. Jim, even when we were beating Jim, I was like, Jim's a good coach. Sharon Moore, I never thought he was a good coach. I thought he was going to underperform pretty much year in, year out, not win big football games. He felt like he was going to come up small in big games, and a lot of questionable decisions there. So I'm sad to see him go. I'm hoping you guys don't pull a Penn State and hire a big time name that can actually coach football.
I don't know. It's gonna be a crazy rest of the week, I'm sure.
It'll be interesting. You better be. I want to hear Shally be full-fledged hater Saturday morning.
It might happen. It might happen.
Well, guys, I have the longest day of my career tomorrow. So leaving the house at 6:30, probably won't get home until 10 p.m. So if you don't have any final comments, I'm going to wrap it up. Shally, any final comments?
I got nothing.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week's Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. Oh, I have a final comment. Make this very clear. Next week will be our last episode of the year live. So tune in next week. It'll be our last live episode of the year. We have a couple special things planned for you guys for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. We haven't taken a break. We haven't had a season end. We're going to take a couple-week break to spend some time with our family. We got a new father in the house in Cottrell. It's Christmas Eve. It's New Year's Eve. I doubt many of you guys will be tuning into us live those days anyway. But we have some special stuff that we'll put out there that you can view for content. But want to just give you guys a heads up. The next week will be our last live episode of the year. Now, we do have a special plan for January 6th, I think it is. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
We'll announce all that next week.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius Gene Walzak. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, Papa Cottrell, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out. Thank you.